现在我一回忆，我就个个拿笔瞎划了，划了完了我再一搅，再细好好搅一搅，这么是搅出来的，就自己捡着玩儿。
Guixin is considered as China's living cultural relic. At 88 years old, she has become one of the country's most well-known and respected paper artists. Apart from her immense skill in wielding a pair of scissors, Liang stood out from the others because of her uncanny ability to tell stories of old China through her little paper figures. Between these two-dimensional flimsy shapes lies local customs and traditions that are fast becoming a distant memory with many urban Chinese. Without any formal training in art, Madame Liang first started to cut paper figures purely for her children to play with. But before long, her talent was spotted by galleries which exhibited several of her works nationwide. The first was in 1988, where her portrayal of the figures of man minority received the first award at the Guixin Folk Art exhibition in Beijing. Her butterfly series, called Diagrams of 100 Butterflies, also garnered national recognition from her fellow men.
那时候吧，也没有卖玩具的，小孩玩没啥玩的。我的老妈妈就给我捡这小人儿，就白小人玩，就这一个纸盒一夹，这又一个纸盒一夹，两家就是小纸人串门，他上他家，他上他家串门。
Back in the condominium apartment where she lives with her daughter, Liang has done what any mother and grandmother would do to keep the family traditions alive. Just as her own mother had cut paper figures for her to play with, she has done the same for her daughter. Not only that, she has also imparted her skills and talent to her granddaughter. However, something is missing from this legacy. While Liang may be able to pass on her craft, it is not possible for her to fully impart the memories, experiences, and the pictures she sees in her head when she cuts. They may get the shape right, but it doesn't come with the wealth of meaning Liang brings to it.
这个剪纸那剪纸，我就想起来，我说我把那些事儿都讲一讲，就这么的剪纸，就回忆旧社会这些事儿。我这是没有新社会的，都是旧事儿。
This is one of her most famous exhibits, which has been shown across the country. The Marriage Customs of Man. It is a storyboard of how people used to get married in old China back in 1928. Liang cuts it the way she remembers it. This is how the story goes. The new bride is sitting on the palanquin and is being greeted by the visitors. She has brought along a quilt, which was a much coveted dowry then. The kind of quilt determines one's social status. Silk quilts can only be afforded by wealthy girls. The bride soon arrives at the groom's house with great aplomb. Two young ladies would help her out of the palanquin, carrying 2 bags of mixed cereal, one to be held in front, the other at the back. They also hold a bronze mirror to keep evil spirits away. According to custom, the bride cannot enter the chambers before it goes dark, so she combs her hair before that. She needs to sit on the axe because it represents luck and happiness.
这个就是24孝里的啊，就是孝子。那个他妈妈有病了，就给找大夫，这花钱多呀，找不起，这就找这个跳大神的。这个老太太是跳大神的，完了得给上供，还得上的香，这是酒，喝酒。完了这儿媳妇给下跪呢。那这跳大神治病那时候有的是啊，都跳大神，哪有就说怕得邪病嘛，就是。 完了，这好了。
Having lived through the Cultural Revolution and a China that many have forgotten, Li Yong's collection of paper stories have become an invaluable treasure trove of what China has lost, especially the little trades of the common people, like the barrow peddler.
那也没啥技巧，回来我就画，我想啥我心里有啊，就画，画完了我就剪的时候呢，你得删细点，画个大概，剪得剪好，不剪好谁细看？
Li Yong uses a pair of scissors to produce these intricate art pieces. A little demonstration shows how easy and yet complex it is to produce a little paper art figure.
开始是这样的，要正方形的纸，正方形的纸这么样折起来，然后呢叠成五角星的剪法。可以简单的勾画一下，因为它这个呢，怕它出界嘛。这个呢，就剪了将近2个小时吧，剪的一个小老鼠。
Apart from cutting the paper with a pair of scissors, paper artists also carve instead of cut. The art form started in China during the Han Dynasty, when paper was invented. It spread to the rest of the world in the 14th century. It had begun as an art of the elite, but as paper became a mass commodity, ordinary people began to cut out shapes and figures for health, prosperity, and decorative purposes. In the past, it was usually girls who were adept with their scissors, but men have also begun to pick up the craft.